What is up, everyone, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to this segment, Dishes from Around the World, where we learn about other cultures through their food. And today we're going to learn how to make a feijoada, and that's the most traditional dish in Brazil. In fact, feijo means beans in Portuguese, because in Brazil, Portuguese is the main language, and the reason for that is because it was conquered by Portugal. Well, it was kind of conquered by Portugal and Spain at the same time, but at the end of the day, when there were, treaties and things like that, Portugal got kind of sole custody of Brazil, so to speak, and Spain got the rest of Latin America. So that's the reason why everywhere else Spanish is spoken, whereas in Brazil, Portuguese is spoken. Now, along with that, feijoada is found historically back in Portugal, but also in Angola and in Mozambique, which kind of makes sense if you think of it this way. Slaves were brought from Africa onto Brazil, back in the 1500s all the way through, mid 1800s. So of course, all that tradition, all that influence is gonna be found in Brazil as well. So the main basis of the feijoada are the black beans. Now, the north of Brazil, like any dish or any country, any tradition, there's gonna be some regional variation to things. And so in the north of Brazil, feijoada, it's gonna be made with either white or red beans, but 90% of Brazil, they choose black beans instead. So let me show you the ingredients, and as I am prepping them, I'm gonna be telling you what we're gonna be doing. So of course, I'm gonna leave the recipe down in the description down below in case you need it, and let's get to it. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make the rice. For me it's just 1 cup because it's just myself. All right, so I just put the rice. It's gonna be ready in about 20 minutes, which is perfect because oh yeah, I like to put my hair up when I cook because I don't want anything to fall on the food, But anyhow, the meat. Okay, so let's talk about the meat and the feijoada. So it is mostly pork. So any pork products that you like, feel free to put it in there. And that also includes maybe beef jerky, which is very common, very traditional to put, like dried meat, chop it or cut it and just put it in there as the beans cook. So now what I chose, just because I wanted to do this the easy way, maybe the quick way, I chose a pork chop, which it looks really amazing. And also, I went to the market this morning very early. I woke up very early this morning and I went to a Finley market in Cincinnati, and I was looking for some Brazilian sausages, but I couldn't find anything. I didn't want chorizo. I could have put chorizo. You can most certainly do that if you want to, but instead I chose to put I'm not even sure how to pronounce this. It's called andouille sausages, andouille. They're like what people use to make gumbo in Louisiana, in New Orleans, and I chose that because it's spicy. So that is the reason why I picked that. But you choose whatever you want, whatever makes you happy. That's what you should choose. All right. And also mild Chicago, and it kind of reminds me of an Italian sausage. Maybe that's what it is, but they call it differently. I don't know. It is delicious. It's really good. So that's what I have for my feijoada. So I was actually gonna do spinach, but then I decided at the very last second to just go the traditional way and do the collard greens and see how I do. So once the collard green is all washed and clean, what I do, just to make it a lot easier for me to handle, I just roll it as if it were, I don't know, a cigar or something, and just very finely chop it like so. So So just so you know, the traditional way to make the feijoada requires the bean, the dry bean that you soak overnight, and then you cook for like an hour, right? Now this girl doesn't have time for that, so I just went and got the canned beans, but not just any regular canned bean. I found this, which I absolutely love, and the brand is Goya, but they are already seasoned, right? So they're black beans prepared with olive oil, red pepper, and onions. So it's in Spanish, so you probably won't understand what it says, but oh, okay, well, here's the the English version. So anyway, if you are like in a supermarket here in the US, like Kroger or you know whatever, you will probably find it in the either in the international section or in the bean section. You can use just regular unseasoned beans, so you just put the seasoning yourself. And what you normally do is just do a sofrito, right? Or just fry onions and garlic and cilantro or parsley, and then either cumin or black pepper, salt, of course, whatever spices you like, coriander usually I put to some dishes. So anyway, so you prepare that base, and oops you prepare that base and then put it on the beans, or just put the beans straight onto the pot like I'm about to do right now. And as I am putting the black beans, I'm saving the cans because I'm just gonna rinse them with water, and I'm gonna pour that water back in the pot, and that's the water I'm gonna utilize to not only warm up the beans because they're already cooked and seasoned, but I also want to make sure that the meat that I'm going to put here in a minute is also full of the flavors of the beans. So as the beans are warming up, and they're cooked already, so I just need them to warm up and to get all the flavor of the meat and everything. In this pan, we're gonna saute and brown all the sausages, right? All the pork, all the meats. And when that is ready, we're gonna put them onto the bean pot. In the leftover oil or grease, it's perfect, because that's where we're going to fry or saute the onions and the garlic and the cilantro. Let's lower that a little bit, and black pepper. And I'm gonna put the collard green like so. And also a very important part of the dish is the orange. So you want to peel an orange and then slice it, and that's going to be part of all the elements that people can pick and choose as to what to put in the feijoada. And the orange sort of serves like a palatal reset. It kind of cuts the saltiness and the heaviness of the beans by providing this sweet and sour flavor ever so slightly of the orange onto this feijoada. So what people from Brazil usually do, they drain everything and then they separate everything so that everybody can pick and choose how much of, whatever food they want to eat. Okay, so we just picked the meat, we're gonna set them aside, and now we're gonna put the beans in its own dish, like so. Yummy. Okay, so we have the beans ready, the broth, the soup rather, the meat are ready, the collard green, the orange. So now we're gonna assemble everything the traditional way, and so you can see how it's served. So let's get to it. Okay, so got a little bit of rice here. I'm gonna put my beans. Assortment of meats. So here's my dish, but traditionally you have to put farofa. Farofa, it's tapioca flour, like toasted tapioca flour, but we're in Cincinnati, Ohio, so I couldn't find any, but that's okay because instead what I normally use if I cannot find farofa is just regular breadcrumbs. So that gives it a little bit of that crunchy, salty, drier taste or, texture, and you just put all over your dish, except for the orange. I don't put it on my orange. And there, that's it. Pretty, yeah? All right, so let's give it a try and see how this came out. Oh my gosh, so good. Delicious. I think you're gonna love this. So easy to make, very quick. Alright guys, thanks for stopping by. Let me know how your feijoada comes out. Don't forget to check the Spanish paella, and well, I will see you on the next dishes from around the world. Salud!